You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion. Delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and first timer on Ron Siegel Radio, Brandon Hargreaves, Home Built Real Estate Solutions. Welcome.
Welcome. How you doing, Ron?
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. I like celebrating, especially when there's food involved. And, you know, for me, there's always something to eat. That's just the way of the world for me. So let's see, what are we gonna celebrate today? Let's see. We got National Fortune Cookie Day. Okay. You know what? I always wonder about the fortune cookies, because is it me or do they almost always seem like they're stale? I don't know about that whole situation. Well, you know what the heck. Fortune Cookie Day. Maybe I'll have to go and get some Chinese food today for lunch. We'll see. Let's see what else there is to celebrate today. International Chess Day.
It is what it is.
World Jump Day. I'm a world-class jumper. Now, my vertical, for those of you that don't understand this, that's how far you jump up. My vertical is called tiptoes. So I'll just throw that out there for you. Not much. Get to know your customers day, Pennsylvania Day. Maybe that's why the president's going to Pennsylvania today. He may not know that Philadelphia is in Pennsylvania. I think that's where he's going, but we'll see. Half Moon Day. What else have we got going on here? I know there's got to be something else. Oh, Kojak Day. Okay, yes, I know I'm old, but Kojak was a great detective movie. And I don't even know what year that was in. It was probably 70s or 80s, something along those lines. 80s?
I vaguely remember it as a child. So
thanks. Appreciate that. Okay, but Kojak, he's always eating his Tootsie Pop. We got lollipops here. Josh, those look like they all came from Disneyland or something, the ones that you've got showing there. Okay, those big, massive ones that, you give your child or grandchild and they're flying high from sugar for the next 6 weeks. Get them all over you, the whole bit. Okay. So get to know your customer. Let's see what else is going on in the world today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average. Whoa. Now, this is an interesting one. The Dow Jones is up 280 points, but the NASDAQ is down 158. S&P 500 is down 9.88. What's that tell an investor like me? Well, it says that there's probably one or two Dow stocks that are moving really well, and the rest of the market is sucking. Oil down 25 cents a barrel right now. Let's see what gas prices are doing. Do we even want to look at gas prices? Okay, I'm looking at the formerly Golden State to see what kind of prices we are. It'll be fun to put on here if we could ever get this, because I get these numbers from AAA. Wouldn't it be fun to know what the gas prices were before the governor gouges us with his taxes and fees?
Yes.
A year ago, gas prices here in the formerly Golden State, $5.84, $5.84 a gallon. $4.89 a gallon now.
No!
Yeah, but our friends, the liberals, they're going to come out and say, Ron, that's a 20%. The gas prices are down 20%. Well, yeah, after you stuck it to us and raised them up by 300%, down 20 makes you feel good? Not really. 358 national average. Let's go around the horn. 489.4 in California. Still less than our friends up in Washington State. Josh, you went down a little bit. 422 in Nevada. Jody's at 379 there in Arizona. Brittany's at 382 in Colorado. And our tremendous underwriter, Lori. She's in America, so she pays a little bit less. $3.16 a gallon of gasoline in Louisiana. $3.16 a gallon. Let's see what else is going on. The president's going to come out today and talk about how great the labor market is because 228,000 people lost their jobs last week. I guess that makes him feel good. He was asleep. He didn't realize that those people lost their jobs. The governor here in California telling us about how great California is. I wonder if that's before or after he starts giving reparations for people that, well, I'm not going to go there. Maybe I will later. 4.5% unemployment in the state of California. Who's the latest? He's going to give money to illegal immigrants working on farms who need legal advice. That's the latest one coming out of the governor. It's just, but I can't feel too bad. I feel bad for a small percentage of the population. As I made this comment yesterday, somebody was saying to me about these issues, and I said, I can feel a little bit of empathy, but I don't feel too bad because we keep voting for these idiots over and over again. I mean, think about this. Who's the leading candidate right now to replace Dianne Feinstein? She doesn't know she's leaving, but to replace Dianne Feinstein. Yeah. Well, don't say that. Chicken Schiff, right? Adam Schiff is going to be the one that's the leading candidate. Got the most money. People are still donating to him. Really? After he went and lied to everybody all that time. Now, I don't care whether you like President Trump or don't like President Trump. Everyone has an opinion. But the issue is really Chicken Schiff lied to the American people over and over and over again. Obviously, that's my opinion. There's nothing that's been said so far that hasn't substantiated that. But he lies over and over again, and then the people of California want to vote him to get a promotion. And you wonder why Los Angeles has the crime it has. You wonder why San Francisco, I think they're just calling it San Fran now because San Francisco was a great city. San Fran, not so much. But, they've killed it. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Governor Newsom was their mayor, wasn't he? Yeah, you got to remember that. But, something, we're still watching all of these things. And again, if you don't like what you're seeing, take a look and vote for somebody different. And I just baffled because I see how many people are still excited about what President Biden is doing. How could you be excited by that? What has he done that's good? I mean, told the whole world that we're out of ammunition. That's probably a bright thing to do. Gas prices went from the high $1 range to now we're in California, high fives. That's a real bright thing. Inflation numbers, they're up. What has he done that's good? Oh, wait. He's got the borders. No, he didn't secure the border either. He opened up the door. I get off my soapbox. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, owning your home helps you build wealth. We'll talk about it, how to create a CD ladder. What is a CD ladder? We're going to talk about that. Appraisals, how do you get an independent valuation of your property value? We'll talk about that as well. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Today's Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You've got a phone, make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. It is days like today that you want to make sure that you're on our mailing list, rsrmarketminute.com. The mortgage market is moving. It's volatile today. And early this morning, as we do every business day, we sent out a report talking about what's going on in the mortgage world. rsrmarketminute.com, free to you. We send that out again every business day morning. And every day at this time, OBMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates. We do not know APR, points paid, points received. All they provide is locked rates with consumers across 42% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. 42%. That means they know what's going on. Now, here's the numbers from yesterday. You can't get anything more current than that. 30-year conforming loan, 6.742. Jumbo, 6.993. 30-year FHA, 6.739. 30-year USDA, 6.793. And the best loan on the market, you got to earn this one. You don't get to just apply. That would be the 30-year VA loan, 6.441. That's what OBMI tells us from yesterday. Let's take a look and see what's going on today. The 10-year Treasury up 12 basis points. That means mortgage rates are not doing well. I'm looking at that one. The mortgage bonds are down 48 basis points right now. That means interest rates are up a lot. S&P 500 is down 12.03. Why are these things happening? That's what we always want to know. Anybody, you can go to that super secret website and find out what's happening, what the numbers are. What's driving them? RonSiegelRadio.com. Any of our socials are ABC News and Talk AM 1490. Existing home sales measures closings on existing homes show that sales fell 3.3% in June to a 4.16 million unit annualized pace. Slightly weaker than the estimates on a year-over-year basis. Sales are down 18.9%. Pace of sales is being kept down by inventory, which is roughly half the levels we saw in 2019. Yes, I am not using the unicorn years. We just look at what happened in the last time that it was a little bit more normal market. So let's continue on with our discussion there. So inventory levels remained at 1.08 million, remains very low. There was 3.1 months supply of homes, which is tight. 4.6 months is considered normal, but if you look at active listings, 582,000. As many of the homes counted in existing inventory are under contract. Can't buy them, they're already contracted. Median home prices, $410,000. Remember, that's a national number. Here in the formerly Golden State, we're probably double that in Orange County, maybe more than double that. It's up 3.5% from previous month, but is down 1% on a year-over-year basis. Homes remained on the market an average of 18 days, showing you that the lack of sales is due to inventory, not demand. 76% of homes sold in less than 30 days, up from 74%. If homes are priced correctly, they sell quickly. NAR's Lawrence Yoon said, quote, the first half of the year was a downer for sure, with sales lower by 23%. Fewer Americans were on the move, despite the usual life-changing circumstances. Pent-up demand will surely be realized soon, especially if mortgage rates and inventory move favorably, unquote. Went on to say, quote, there's simply not enough homes for sale. The market can easily absorb a doubling of inventory. Limited supply is still leading to multiple offer situations. 1/3 of the homes getting sold above the list price in the latest month. First-time home buyers accounted for 27% of the market. That was from 28 down a little bit. Cash buyers, 26%. That was 25. Investors are 18%. It was 15%. Just throwing some numbers out there for you. I know that some of the numbers there's a lot of them. But hey, if you want to get more, you want to replay them. I know a lot of people want to hear me twice. Yeah, I'm just chuckling. I should chuckle at that one. But here's the issue. The numbers, you can get all of this data, go back to Ron Siegel Radio on Facebook or YouTube or any of the other channels. Initial jobless claims measures individuals filing for unemployment benefits for the very first time. Fell 9,000 to 228,000. Employers are clearly still trying to hold on to workers. Continuing claims of those that continue to receive benefits after their initial claim rose 33,000 to 1.75 million. Just when we were starting to see several prints and initial claims above 260,000, they've come back down to some tame numbers the last few reports. Today's decrease added some pressure to the bond market, which was looking for a rise in claims, and that's why we're seeing the bonds up so much. Regardless, there's been a clear slowdown in the pace of hirings in the private sector, as seen in the BLS jobs report. Peter Bookvar shared some of the average private sector job gains over the last year, clearly shows the trend. 3-month average, 196,000. 6-month, 215,000. 12-month, 266,000. 2022 average, 376,000. So we are slowing, regardless of what the media and the president want you to think. And the other one that's going to be a big one for CPI, preliminary reading for July came out on Tuesday from Manheim. Used vehicle price index showed used car prices are down 0.9% in the first half of July, which represents the fourth month of declines to the lowest level since August of 2021. Year-over-year prices are down 11.1%, which is lower than the 10.3% decline in June. Car Guru is also showing that used car prices are down 0.5% during the same period. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So when you're buying a house, almost all the time, not always, but most of the time, you're going to need to know what the value is of that property. Lenders, like our friends at Geneva Financial, they are going to always want an appraisal of almost every transaction they do. Is that to tell you the value of the property? No. Appraisers cannot tell you the value of the property. They tell you the value of the lien for the benefit of the lender. The value of a property is always, always, always determined by what a willing seller will sell for and a willing buyer will pay. Now, they may come up to the idea that, especially in a market like this, that the buyer's willing to pay $50,000 more than the property value because they want to win the bid. They want to get that property. That doesn't mean that the lender is in the same boat. They want to talk to an independent appraiser and get their valuation based on very, very regulated and regimented standards. We're going to learn about that today. We've got Brandon Hargreaves with us today, Home Built Real Estate Solutions. How long have you been doing appraising, Brandon?
20 years now.
20 years.
Yes, and randomly enough, we know each other. We met, well, we worked in the same office. I leased an
Long
office
time ago.
We figured it out, it was about 11 years ago. And your name popped back up, and I was like, Ron, that sounds familiar. Then I saw your picture, and I was like, yep, that's definitely him.
So you were at the post office, and you saw my picture on the post office wall.
That's why, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
A lot of people see my picture on the post office. Okay, I know there's some young people that don't know what that means. There is a place called post offices. That's where the mail goes through. And the FBI puts their most wanted on the wall. I got to put that in there because there are some folks that.
That's the
okay.
Yeah.
So appraisals. You've always been doing appraisals.
Yes, I've been in the appraisal industry for the past 20 years. I also am a licensed real estate agent with eXp Realty, and I am an investor as well. So what I'm trying to help out with is the value part of this process, right? And how it relates to lenders, agents, everybody in the puzzle. And if we have a simplistic idea on what my piece of that puzzle, the appraiser piece of that puzzle does and how to help navigate through the process, it saves a lot of time and headache. And that's what I've learned through the years as far as what lenders have to go through, what agents have to go through based off of maybe a lack of communication with that appraiser, because for so long, everyone's been scared to talk to each other in that regard because they try to put a boundary between who talks to who.
Yeah, we don't want to get into that, do we, Mr. Cuomo? With all the
Exactly.
problem of the appraisal. Now, I'm old enough, you are too, to go back to the day when we can actually vet our appraisers.
I was in that, yes.
Right. And we could say, okay, you know something, I know Brandon, he does a good job. He's reliable. He's going to be my appraiser.
Yep.
You know, they changed that in what, 2009 or 2010?
2009 is when it happened. The shift of the appraisal management company came in, and where they regulate the appraisal process between the lender and the appraiser.
So they put a big wall up there so the lenders can't collude, supposedly, with appraisers.
Exactly.
Now, you can still do an appraisal for anybody you want to.
Yes, yeah, independent. It could be an estate purpose. It could be just to find the value of a home. I do a lot of that because people want to know maybe what they're going to be listing their home for. And the best way to get that realistically is from an appraiser, because they are going to give you the value based off of how they see it and hit those guidelines that lenders need, right? So they're satisfying the underwriting process by doing the appraisal, really.
So when I talk to a realtor, they're going to, you know, when I should go back up. When I, leading a lending team, there's two different values for a property, right? So we look at the value of what is a property going to appraise at for refinance purposes.
Yes.
And then when I go and talk to a real estate agent, you know, and the refinance, we're looking backwards, right? What has the market done going backwards? But a real estate agent is looking forward.
Yes, as a prospective approach versus a retrospective approach.
There
right?
you go. Those are great words.
Yeah.
I'm just a simple guy.
Yeah, no, but that's how you break it down. Really, is and this is where we're in a market right now, right? We just went over all that information. Is how the low inventory, and so how long are things sitting on the market for, and what needs to satisfy again the lender's guidelines, which typically in an appraisal is going to be 3 closed sales and active/pending. So a minimum of 3 closed. And then ideally you want to get those actives and pendings in there, because that kind of negates or navigates as to where the value of the home is, they're headed, the market trends are heading, right? That's what those pendings and active do. And
do you look for outliers when you're looking at pending?
Good question. I do my best to look at all of it, because if I see something that's an outlier, you got to analyze it a little bit to see why. And if it relates, and maybe it starts out as an outlier, but then it turns out to be the most similar to your subject, right? So then you now have to look at the other ones, and it all comes down to providing information and how you articulate that in your appraisal to make it legible and readable to the reader, which is the underwriter again.
So I want to throw this at you and see what your
let's do it
perspective would be. So we have had Simon Polito on our broadcast many times. I don't know if you know Simon at all. So Simon does a non-distressed luxury auction, and he'll list property. He'll put the property and recommend. So say you've got a property that's got a value of $1.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
He said opening bids to start at $1.2 million.
Yeah.
And that, so they know that the property is worth $1.5 million, but they're doing this to create that excitement around the property.
Yeah. To potentially go over $1.5 million, right?
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. Now, if that's a listed property, when you're going out to do an appraisal and you see that $1.2 million,
mm-hmm.
Are you going to call that an outlier?
As a listing, not as a closed?
As a listing.
As a listing, again, I will do my research on it, and it would be considered outline, because I would say auction, or it would say some form as a non-standard, typical, and we try to find the most on-market standard appraisals. Like, we don't want to compare a short-sale property to a transitional conventional if we don't have to, unless it's a short sale market, which was again 2010, really, right?
We
were just, all my comps were short sales or foreclosures. Sure. There was no other way to do it.
So you're looking at what the market's
trends are. Exactly. And again, every lender specifically wants, every guideline wants, ideally, USPAP, Freddie and Fannie is, you want your sales as soon yesterday. I want a closed sale with a document that it closed yesterday, because I need that. But that's not how it works, right? They take a couple weeks to record. So it's something that could say closed, but you pull it up, it's still saying not registering as closed. That's where you just got to give information, because it is irrelevant, but you got to do a little digging. And what I'm finding out is, some people don't want to dig that deep, but sometimes you have to for your client, because in these specific situations, that it will determine if the value and the loan goes through or not, just by how you analyze it and how you put it out there on the paper. Because if my goal is, you do the appraisal, you do the inspection, and I don't ever have to see that appraisal again.
There you go.
I don't want to see it again. If I don't see it again, I did my job, and someone's happier along the way, whether it's the lender, the seller, the buyer, whoever it is. But that's the goal. But when they come back to you, that's a different story, because that becomes the rebuttal process, if you will. And you mentioned how you deal with that on your end, and we can maybe talk about that as well.
We're going to do that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, more with Brandon Hargreaves. When we come, also owning your home helps you build wealth. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Monitor your assets, monitor your credit score, monitor your bank account. Yeah, we've even got on there what the value of your property is. 4 different automated valuations. 3 of them are good. We also show you Zillow because we know you're going to go there. Whether it's good or bad, we know which one it is. And then we're going to also tell you about 97% of the properties available for sale on the market. rsrmoney.com. Owning your home helps you build wealth. You may have heard some people say it's better to rent than buy a home right now. But even today, there are lots of good reasons to become a homeowner. One of them is that owning a home is typically viewed as a good long-term investment that helps your net worth grow over time. Home ownership builds wealth regardless of income level. You may be surprised to learn homeowners across various income levels have a much higher net worth than renters who make the same amount of money. Data from First American helps illustrate this point. And if you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you are seeing a chart. Homeowners build wealth across incomes. Net worth is greater for homeowners in each income level. And that goes all the way down to 46,000 to 74,000 income level, all the way up to those over 192,000 in income levels. You can see what these net worth numbers look like. What makes wealth so much higher for homeowners? A recent article from Realtor.com says, quote, home ownership has long been tied to building wealth, and for good reason. Instead of throwing rent money out the window each month, owning a home allows you to build home equity. And over time, equity can turn your mortgage debt into a sizable asset, unquote. Basically, the wealth you accumulate when you own a home has a lot to do with equity. As a homeowner, equity is built up as you pay down your loan and as home prices appreciate over time. Mark Fleming, chief economist at First American, explains how this same benefit is not true for renters in a recent podcast. Quote, renters as non-homeowners gain no wealth benefit as home prices rise. That wealth actually accrues to the landlord, unquote. Before you decide to sign another rental agreement, now's a good time to think about whether it would be better for you to buy a home instead. The best way to figure that out, give us a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. We even have tools that'll show you what is better, the cost of waiting. Should you buy now or wait until later? We've got tools that'll show you that as well. That's the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Chatting this morning, Brandon Hargreaves is with us. He's an investor and a real estate appraiser, been doing the real estate appraising for longer than he's probably going to admit to, but a long time. But before the break, we were chatting a little bit about there's a built-in, I don't know if I want to say a battle, but every lender and every realtor wants the properties to appraise at the highest possible value. Underwriters have a different issue. So what is the job of an underwriter? An underwriter's job is to make sure that the loan it meets every one of the guidelines for the program that it is. That if you're dealing with a non-portfolio product, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, USDA, that the loan is sellable and defendable. It's got to be both. So once they sell it, they don't want it coming back. Brandon made a comment before. He doesn't want to see his appraisals ever again. Right? So the bottom line is the underwriter wants to make sure that the loan can be bought off of the company's what they call warehouse line. And that once that happens, no one's challenging it, saying you missed something, you did this wrong, you applied a bad guideline, there's something fraudulent, and none of those things happen. With appraisals, I think you're probably wanting the same thing, that the appraisal is done in such a way that no one's going to challenge that.
Typically, yes, they do. They try. But
Right.
yeah, you don't, that's their profession. That's their job. It's like, unless you go get your car fixed somewhere and your oil changed, but then you get home and it's still leaking. Well, then you would challenge that because why is it still leaking when you said you fixed it, right? So we're trying to provide a solution for their value by giving them the information. Again, it goes back to, like you said, the underwriting. And so our guidelines are set up basically on so if you're dealing with, say, 5 different lenders, right? You're let's use appraisal management companies, for instance. They're going to set their standards of what they need in their appraisals from appraisers at the highest standard of that lender, whichever that 5 lenders are, right? So so then it covers all the tracks. So the highest one with the most
overlays or the most
overlays is kind of how they now implement their guidelines to the appraisers of what they need, because then it satisfies it going back into their portal and having to go through their QC process again and having to go back into the system. Because again, everybody wants this things done as quick as possible, right? And efficiently as possible.
Quick and accurate.
Exactly. So that's where that comes into play. But again, well, actually, let me step back. What my objective is I want people to give as much information that they can and not be hesitant because they think that they're going to upset someone's boundary. Like, say you're an agent.
When you say I want someone,
like,
are you talking about from the appraisal? Oh, for the agent.
Let's just say we're doing a purchase. I'm going to show up to your property to appraise this property, and you're the agent. Correct? Okay. So you're going to come to the property, and in the past, since the 2009 crash, there's been a lot of hesitation on how to talk to the appraiser from the agent, right? Well, what can I give them? Can I give them my comps?
Benjamin Franklin?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we're just kidding about that one.
Not me. But that's the idea, is how they aren't sure on what to give the appraiser as far as how much information am I going to give them before they get offended or before I'm overstepping a guideline of what's allowed to be given. And the truth is, we're all real estate professionals. Provide them information that you see relevant, and it's up to the appraiser to decide on if that's relevant in their part of the professional process, right? So I prefer getting as much information from you at the property.
Not from me. I'm a lender. We're not allowed to give it to them.
Well, as an agent, we're using you as an agent today.
Okay.
So you're the agent. You're coming with your cutouts of everything, whatever, all your MLS printouts of everything. It's a lot of information, yes. But they should line up. If you're the expert in your market as the agent, I'm the expert as the appraiser. Ideally, we're trying to come up with, we should all see things pretty similarly if we're doing it correctly, I feel, because the market
What's
is
the normal
market.
Spread between what one appraiser will value a property at and another appraiser?
Do you want to hear a funny story?
Sure. We love stories.
Okay, so
Story time on Ron Siegel Radio.
I did a an independent appraisal for a divorce, right?
Okay.
So the client was the lady of the divorce. She was getting an appraisal, and then her ex-husband to be was getting an appraisal. So I appraised the property, and it was in Costa Mesa, and I appraised it, and I came in at a value. The other, and she's buying her husband out, mind you. Okay, so she's
motivated. She wants, Brandon, give me the most conservative pricing you can.
Exactly, and she's the most realistic conservative prices. Okay, so I came in at a value. He came in and brought his appraiser in, and the appraiser was $200,000 over my value.
Wow.
In Costa Mesa, California, and the house was about 1,100 square feet. I appraised it, and this is how crazy the market is, at 1.55.
For 1,100 square feet.
1,100 square feet.
Okay.
And he appraised it at 1.79, something 200 grand over. I don't even remember, almost 1.8 or something like that. So of course, I looked at his appraisal, and the appraiser, he just wasn't on his game, and there was a reason. You can tell what he was trying to stretch for. He was using Newport comparables on the other side of 16th Street, so he wasn't doing his job correctly. So they had to get a third appraisal, and that appraisal came in at around 1.5 or 1.56. About 10 to 20 grand difference of mine. So yes, we do run into it often, but then that's, two versus his, and obviously this guy wants the most value out of the house, so then his ex can buy him out of it.
Sure.
But the timing I did that was really good, because again, 3 months later, the market's been so volatile. A model match sold for like 1.7. But again, this was a prospective or retrospective. I had to backdate it 6 months from when they submitted their divorce paperwork. So it was already going off of that market time. It wasn't.
You're talking about 9 month difference.
9 month difference. But yeah, then one outlier comp for some reason that I didn't have to deal with, because I'm done with it, never came back to me. But she told me, because we talked about it, is that went up to like 1.7. So the market is volatile, but again, it's based off of that date of inspection, not a date in 2 days.
I'm going to share something with our audience that Brandon knows, but a lot of people don't. The form that is used for a divorce is not the same form that's used for a Fannie and Freddie appraisal. And if you're dealing with somebody that does not know that, your attorney can have a field day with that one. So just be aware who you use, and make sure that they understand what they're doing the appraisal for. Does have a big difference in the outcome. Don't want to have you have a problem with that. So just be aware of that.
Then you're doing your expert testimony which is always fun, but I that's not my niche as much. I'd rather get out there, be in the field instead of being in a courthouse.
You don't want to be in the courtroom with the suit and all that kind of stuff.
You know what I found? That I get very passionate about things. So you have to be really regulated on how you deal, because that was a situation where I was dealing with a difference of value between two appraisers' opinion. And this appraiser that I was up against, again, it was like a third lien on a property for a hard money, and they were trying to satisfy everybody for a foreclosure or something. But yeah, actually the judge he favored the other appraisers based off of just price per square foot. He didn't go off of any facts about it being on a busy street, having a view, having a pool. He just strictly was like, well, we're just going to go off price per square foot, which, that's a whole nother story for appraisers.
Well, something that's not a bad thing though, because if you're looking at, you were at 1.5 and the other one was at 1.55 and they're at 1.56. There's not a whole lot of difference in there. So it's just
no, the 200 grand difference. Yes. But
not 200. Yeah.
Yeah. That one, that she I think just got him out of it. Didn't care. She was just so done with that guy. She's like, there's an extra 100 grand. Just don't come back.
Very interesting. So there's a lot to know about appraising, and now be aware, you don't have to use an appraisal management company when you're dealing in divorce and probate and estates and other proprietary issues. When you're dealing with the government sponsored entities and many portfolio lenders, then they're going to want to go through the appraisal management company and have that whole area for defending of loans and whatnot. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, more with Brandon. We're going to keep learning about appraisals, what we need to know, what we shouldn't know, all that and more. Reach me anytime off air. Josh, I think we're going to miss out on our Borrow Smart segment because I talk too much, but that's a whole different story. Again, reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at RonIsMyLender.com. That's RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey friends, do you dream of mortgage-free home ownership? Are you aware that even if you own your home free and clear, it could still be costing you thousands per year? The Siegel Lending Team can help you generate tax-free income, accumulate family wealth, and maintain ownership of your home. By simply emailing your most recent mortgage statement, you'll receive a no-obligation real estate plan. Learn more by calling 1-800-306-1990 or email me your recent mortgage statement to PEAR@RonSiegelRadio.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit RSRNoDebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit RSRNoDebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. RSRNoDebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. RSRNoDebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to RSRNoDebt.com. RSRNoDebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Borrow Smart segment brought to you by RSRStudentLoanHelp.com, RSRStudentLoanHelp.com. We will not settle down. We will not back off. There are 11 different programs out there to help folks with student loans. We know them, or at least our partners do. If you need some help with student loans, RSRStudentLoanHelp.com. Continue our conversation. Brandon Hargreaves is with us, Home Built Real Estate Solutions. He's an appraiser. He figures out what properties are worth. And we just get to learn about it here on Ron Siegel Radio and ask the questions. And if you've got questions, Brandon will hopefully come back again and we can save some of those questions. Brandon, what is it? How long does it take you to do an appraisal?
Typically when it's ordered, you call the client, you set up the appointment, you go to the inspection. Inspections typically take, again, we're going based off different square footages of homes, right? But an average 30 to 45 minutes, you inspect the property. And again, when you have an appraiser at your property and they're quick, and doesn't mean they don't know what they're doing. It could mean they're really efficient, So when you get your appraisal back and you're like, well, the appraiser was only here for 15 minutes. And, in fairness to that, your condo is 1,200, like 800 square feet. It's
and I just looked at one of these last week.
Yeah, I already have the floor plan in my previous appraisal reports from being in this condo project. So there are those cases, but you kind of get a feel for it, because again, when you have an appraiser come to your home and say you're the homeowner, you're letting them into your space, right? So you're letting them into your sacred castle. So there's a part of that to where you kind of you'll get a feel for who they are just by the way they walk around your home and how you feel. And when they do walk through your home, you don't necessarily need to follow them around. Please.
Yeah, they're not there to they're not what do they call it, scoping your house out?
No, they're licensed, bonded, they're all that good stuff. And
so you're there for that goes to another question, because last week we were talking to Jeff Clark. He's a home inspector.
Okay.
And he was telling us that there's basically no regulation on home inspectors. They don't have to be licensed. They don't have any of that.
Which is interesting, because they're going inside of a home and you'd think there'd be some form of
licensing back. Now, is there licensing for appraisers?
Yes. I mean, yeah, you have to get your licensed, and it's recognized through the state boards. Every state in the United States has a different board within their state for appraisals. Some of the states are reciprocity, meaning I could go work in Arizona. You just fill out some paperwork, which I actually did do. I moved to Arizona after I got my real estate license. So I worked in both states. Well, I didn't work in both. I lived in one, then I moved back. But I had my license for a minute in Arizona as well.
What about the idea now? Are there levels of appraisers, or
yes,
can a guy that's used to doing a $300,000 house in San Bernardino do a $3 million house in Newport Beach?
Well, if they're certified, yes. If they're licensed, it depends on the loan. Licensing only allows you to appraise for a loan amount up to $1 million.
Okay.
But that's again for a lending transaction. I'm licensed, I can appraise a $5 million home if it's non-lending, or I believe if the loan amount is under $1 million. So if anything over $1 million, it requires a certified, and then there's a certified general, which does commercial.
So the guy that does the house is not the same guy that's doing the commercial.
Commercial, I mean, typically commercial appraisers stick to commercial once they get their leveling there. They don't go back and go to it's like a commercial contractor versus a residential contractor. Once
Mike Trout's not going back to play for the AAA team.
But you can look at it differently. Maybe you're looking at like a step down, but ideally sometimes the commercial field and realm that they're in is different, to where maybe they like the turn and burn of a residential appraisals, so their flow may be better than having one project that lasts 2 months versus a bunch of appraisals that last 2 days or whatever.
Makes a lot of sense.
Typically they will get their report back to your question. They will get their appraisal back typically within 48 hours after inspection is the goal that they always say, the standard goal for appraisal. But again, that takes sometimes longer or less. Right now, we're really slow, so I'm sure appraisers are trying to get them in as quick as possible so they can show their clients they're great, so they can get more work, right? That's kind of how it works. And then when you're really busy, you just say, well, I'm too busy, and I'm just going to put you on when appraisers are busy and the market, when the rates were low, when the unicorn was hitting, you were doing 10, 15 appraisals a week.
Wow.
Yeah, you're just burning them out. So, and that's where.
So how much home time or office time is there?
There's a lot
as compared to the on-site time.
There's definitely more at home, because you're doing all you're analyzing everything, you're writing it, you're prepping it, you're putting your photos in, you're doing your sketch. So but then the drive time could take, the driving, you got to shoot your comparables, you got to drive the property, you got to measure the property. So that's what I like about this job, though, is it allows for the freedom of both. So I'm not stuck somewhere too long.
Not stuck in an office all day, but
when you have ADD, it works really well.
That makes sense.
Definitely.
Is technology making it easier or harder, or is there any place in technology?
I mean, yes. Having a Tesla when you're doing this, having a car that navigates basically where you need to go for your driving is definitely added. And you can do all your, you can do a lot in your car now that you couldn't do before. So
you've got one of those automated driving cars, so that you do the work while the car drives.
No, I'm an appraiser. I just drive my girlfriend. She's got the Tesla.
Oh, okay. I would say you must be doing really good to have a Tesla.
Well, I'm going to be when we get this investment stuff going. That's where I'm headed, right?
There you go. So that's a whole different world. So the appraisal world. So it's usually, so you can figure, depending upon how busy you are.
Yeah.
About a week, give or take.
Again, and then we can kind of touch on that real quickly as far as how to help the process move smoother for you guys. We kind of touched on it briefly about the rebuttal, if you will. So if we get an appraisal that comes in lower than you expect, there's a form that, say, the lender would provide, which is a rebuttal form to the appraiser to try to dispute their value, right? And that happens because, hey, you're 20 grand low. Let's figure out why. But a better way to solve that, and even than not having to go through the rebuttal process, is to actually, again, go back to being comfortable to provide as much as your information as you have to that appraiser. Because for me personally, when I get all the information and say the agent shows up to the property that I'm going to be doing the purchase appraisal for, they show up, they show me, they hand me stuff. It shows to me that, hey, they're on their game too. They're watching me now. So now I got to make sure everything on this report at least is aware of what's in the packaging they're giving me.
So I want to throw this because we've got less than a minute left.
Yeah.
So you get a purchase contract. On a refi, you don't get anything, right?
On a refi, you don't get values. No.
Purchase contract comes with the purchase when you're doing a purchase appraisal.
Yep, you get the purchase contract with backup offers, whatever it is that leads to that agreed upon value between the buyer and seller.
Now you come in and if you see you're looking at a purchase agreement that's $975,000, and your numbers come out and it says, it looks to me like $970.
I've had it.
Are you going to report it as 970? Or are you going to say, okay, well, you know something?
Here's the deal.
That's
I've
immaterial.
had to do both. And again, it's based again. I mean, if I'm even stretching for that 970, then it's going to be harder for me to hit it. Again, we're good. These are our opinions as well, based off of the experience we know.
That's what I'm saying. If you've got an opinion in your 5,000 difference in a $1 million property.
I know we have to go, but let me just touch real quick on why I feel this way, because I came with the mindset, I'm doing a service to this buyer of this property because I appraise it for what it's worth, which is 10 grand below the purchase price. But what I didn't realize until I started talking to agents and having conversations with lenders and agents is that could potentially kill the deal. So instead of me thinking I'm saving somebody or something, I potentially could have killed a whole deal for everyone, not me personally, but the market value I gave could potentially kill the deal. So I like the information everybody gives me because it allows me to give more information to that underwriter as to why I am doing what I'm doing.
So do you include like the backup offers?
I don't include them, but I will acknowledge that they're in there. And if it's something I need to, I'll include anything if I need to get the value. You know what I mean? If you want me to say your kitchen sink's, gold, and I mean, can I put $1 on it? No, but I can say that it's nice. So then now it gives me the value up of the home's condition.
Gotcha. Great information. If you want more information on this, or if you want to meet any of our guests, if you want to chat with Brandon, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I know where to find him, and I can put you in touch. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 at RonSiegelRadio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Paid by the hour and older by the